Welcome back, everyone, to another Market Open live stream. Let's go ahead, take a look. What the heck is going on in the markets today? These markets are never, well, I wanted to say they're not ever really a surprise, but then again, it's up one day, it's down the next day, and they're different catalysts. Maybe it kind of isn't a surprise. I don't know. So anyway, let's go ahead and figure out what's going on. We are going to pull up our trusty Weeble, and we will also pull up our Bloomberg terminal so we can figure out exactly what kind of madness is happening today. So let's go to the state. Oh, Weeble stuck. Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. So what do we got today? We have in the pre-market, I'm going to start with some of the red here. Desktop metals was selling off yesterday after hours as well. We can see that's extending here, 10.69%. Ideanomics down 5.9. AT&T was actually rallying yesterday after the Discovery deal, but all of a sudden it's down 5.4%, which for AT&T is a huge movement. I mean, AT&T, if you look at the last year on the stock, it's literally been flat. Now, in fairness, they pay a 7% dividend. It's one of my favorite div stocks. I don't own div stocks, so that does not actually mean that I own it, but it is a good dividend stock. 240 for Coinbase on the downside here, 3.16%. Tesla down again, sitting at 1.5% to the downside here in the pre-market. Tesla getting pretty beat up. There was an article, oh gosh, another one this morning in China about a Model X accident being next to two police officers on the floor and one of them having died. So I mean, the amount of attention Teslas get when there's a car accident is disproportionate. But it's obviously Tesla gets the finger pointed at it real quickly anytime there's an accident. Let's just say that. Otherwise, there's actually not. It doesn't look like there's too terribly much red that's like deep red. I mean, I don't really consider this 0.15% here really red. More so, it looks like Ideanomics, AT&T, Riot, Marathon. Although Marathon's doing better. Tesla and Coinbase. These are the ones getting whacked right now. Let's go to the positive side here. So interesting. Discovery is gaining what AT&T is like selling off here. We got, let's see here. Baidu, Microvision. Okay, AMC again. So a little bit of momentum plays here. Oh, there we go. Let's make sure we're on the all stocks. Yeah, okay. There we go. So here we go. Gevo. Okay, so momentum again. Look at that, Gevo, Express, Naked. These are some momentum plays. Purple's been bobbing around in this mid-30s range, plus or minus a little bit. So not too much of a surprise here. Although we do have, look at that, Churchill Capital sneaking up again, 2.29%. So you kind of get this pull up again here of Churchill Capital. Oh yeah, and the chat is a little bit of a mess. It's okay. We can fix that. Thank you for pointing that out. There we go. Okay, let's figure out what kind of headlines we got going on in the market. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Bloomberg. Let's go ahead and listen to Jim a little bit.
They were bad.
Oh, so
they were poor.
You dump on analysts, but not on board members and ATMs.
By the way, you know that is not true. Nobody does it. Really, of the two of us, who sucks up more to CEOs and boards? Who? Come on.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's exactly right. Remember that face. All right, we got. But every so often, watch out, because when he gets mad, ooh, it's not good. All right, we got an opening bell coming up next.
Okay, this is odd. Very well then. Let's give Bloomberg.com a moment here just to check out. Oopsies, that was our one of our diamond handmen. So all right. So what do we got here? Biden proposes billions for cybersecurity after waves of attacks. I have to say a little bit about the proposals is getting a little exhausting right now. It's constant proposals right now, which it kind of reminds me a little bit of how we felt in like May through September of 2020, where it was just nonstop proposals and ideas for spending money. But it took all the way through gosh, when did we actually get the second stimulus check? It took all the way through December to actually get something. Now, they don't actually expect to pass the infrastructure package until the fall, which is like September, October. Yeah, it's already kind of built into my expectations regarding that September to October, certainty bounce or removal of uncertainty bounce. But a lot of spending being proposed, even the semiconductor spending being proposed. Oh, let us, of course, also take a look at, but yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see when things actually start flowing. So let's take a quick look here at Kryptos as well before the market opens. We're at 43,630, trending down a little bit again here on Bitcoin, down about that 2.5%. Ethereum, I don't actually personally really feel like Ethereum's down 2%. I feel like Ethereum's kind of been bobbing around 3,300 here, 3,400. So I'm not sure about that. Well, look at this. Cardano is back to $2. Cardano is another one that obviously just another one of the coins. I don't understand why, but with Cardano, I'll tell you, out of all the coins that I'll mention, okay, which is okay, in fairness, maybe not that many coins, but of the coins that I mentioned, oh, did AT&T cut their dividend? Is that why? Oh, well, that'll do it. Ah, really? Maybe that's why they're down so much. But let's see here. AT&T's in it. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. But anyway, the Cardano of this one, this is probably the one I have to say that I get the most messages on, where folks are like, Gavin, it's very polarizing. Cardano, it's either Cardano is going to be useless in 10 years, and the second is Cardano to the moon. Like usually with Kryptos, it's only to the moon. So I have to say with Cardano, I get the most balanced comments, I feel like. And they're extreme in both directions, but at least I get like an equal amount of each. All right, so did we get a dividend update here? If you read the fine print, you find that the dividend has been cut in half. Wow. See, I don't track AT&T, so thank you for bringing that to my attention. Wow, really? Expects the annual dividend payout ratio of 40% of anticipated free cash flow of $20 billion. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll do it. Sure. That's the only reason people were really holding on to things. I mean, I introduced it as a dividend stock. Oh, that's a bummer. Moving on.
Walking the tightrope. I think that you have to compromise a lot of things when you work in China. It's a big market, but I also think you can be a force of good in China. I think that the Chinese Communist Party is always worried about Apple, but knows that.
Okay, we're gonna pull back off Jim here for a moment before the opening bell. Take a look at this. This is something we just mentioned, and there is a Bloomberg article apparently on it. Meme stocks, which I call momentum stocks, I think is a little fair, roar back to life with GameStop, AMC catching fire. Yeah, they had one heck of a run yesterday, and they're kind of doing very well right now too. We've got where'd they go? Well, I know Jiva is doing well. Microvision's up here. Let's see. We got 25 seconds before the opening bell. GameStop. No. GameStop's down to 3.2%. AMC's sitting at 2%. We'll see how it opens. It was a little stronger a few minutes ago. To the bell.
The most civil rights oriented company. I think it is hard to justify. My charitable trust owns it. We've been selling for fear that they will say, you know what, we can't justify it. Yeah.
Well,
it's a red candle on AMC at the open.
Kathy Wood's ARC continues to sell some Apple, which we can talk about in a second. There's the opening bell at the NYSE and the NASDAQ, Jim, which it looks like is going to get lucid as they tweet a few moments ago about the SPAC merger. I think the ticker symbol under lucid is going to be, I lost it here, but LCID. Yep.
Okay.
Following the planned merger with CCIV.
And
there's a lot between that and Fisker and Tesla and the Ford Lightning F-150. There's a ton of news in the EV space.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ford with Biden will be there. I think Ford's electric one.
LCID.
He's not getting enough credit for trying to make his whole line electric, and obviously they have the component problems. Tesla, we can bat about. Tesla stock has become.
All right, let's go ahead and look at the sticks. But yeah, I see that here on Twitter as well now. Obviously, thanks to CNBC for pointing that out. But yeah, Lucid will be LCID. Very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and pull the sticks here and see how things are behaving right off the open here. So we actually have Tesla trying to climb at the open here. I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, we got some green candlesticks here. Okay, we'll see how this behaves. How are things operating though? Let's see. Let's go to all stocks. Desktop metals is accelerating to the downside. Express, PaySafe. Here's some more momentum stocks. Gevo. But I'm not really seeing them take off right now. Gevo's going down. Zom's flat. I'm not seeing any of them take off other than Churchill right now. But Churchill sold off so much. It's kind of like taking away the cookie box and giving you back some crumbs. Yeah. So, okay, Gap 2.5%, Nikola 2.3%, Piton sitting at 189. Ford Motor 1.5. Here we go. What's running? Oh, Piton's actually running at the moment. All right. So Piton's doing the nice looking green candle. Sundial, here we go. Here's another momentum play. Yeah, I know when the momentum plays are in, there's always something that ends up floating to the top. Zom's rotating to the downside. We'll see if that ends up being. Oh, look, IPOE. IPOE had a little bit of a rally in the pre-market here. Kind of gave it up as soon as we opened. We've got towards the downside. Yeah, AT&T really getting kind of whacked on the div news. Yeah, that's a bummer. And I mean, it makes sense. Like, do they really need to provide a 7% dividend? Their stock did nothing for a year. So it's not like they were really like attracting a ton of growth because of their dividend. So who knows? But 5.7% decline after a dividend cut in half kind of makes sense. It's a little bit of a larger sell-off, probably than you would think. But then again, you also just disincentivized a lot of folks to even be in the stock. So we'll see. Arcimoto is down 4% here. Arcimoto did report yesterday. Arcimoto down 4%. GameStop down 4.8%. Yeah, kind of rotating to the downside here. EXPI has been bombing around the mid-20s level here. Also rotating a bit to the downside right now. Tesla also rotating to the downside. Oh, here we go again. Going right back down the gutter. Oh, it doesn't end. All right, let's listen to CNBC here from what?
Strategy. And then Biden going to Ford today. There's a lot of discussion about what is the overlap between the truck market and the EV market, and would you get a classic F-150 buyer to be interested in an EV, especially with Biden ostensibly backing it with his appearance today?
My wife is in line to buy a Super Duty, electric Super Duty. That's bigger than the F-150 for this new place that we bought with Bitcoin. We bought this farm with Bitcoin. Now we're going to buy the 150 with Ethereum because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We bought the Ethereum because it was like some, I don't know, but that we're getting the EV Super Duty, Dave. That's the bigger one. It's like you don't call it the 250 or 350. You call it the Super Duty.
Right.
Okay. And it's not going to be diesel.
Okay, Jim. Okay. We're going to go to Bloomberg. We got some AMC talk here.
The impact of stimulus checks on its results. It's doing the same right now. Elsewhere, RBC's retail analyst reacting to the results, running the following. In the short term, inflation, favorable weather, and stimulus all contributed to the outperformance, but the key drivers remain the substantial supply-demand dynamics. We need to talk about the economics, and we can do that right now with PIMCO's Tiffany Wilding and Tony Rodriguez of Nuveen. Tiffany, let's just start with you. How temporary this dynamic is at the moment, with demand exploding and our inability, seemingly, to meet it with supply. Is this just something we settle with higher prices or with time?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, Jonathan. So, I think stimulus payments clearly have boosted demand for consumption of goods, including home improvement goods. But I think we have to keep in mind that these economic stimulus payments, they're not reoccurring. We saw obviously a big one in mid-March, which definitely boosted spending, and that allowed these retailers to sustain higher prices. But as we move forward and as we don't get these economic stimulus payments, I think it's very likely that you see consumption, kind of behave more normally. And that is to say that as retailers increase prices, you have, kind of the quantity of things that people buy, start to decline. So in other words, that pricing power, starts to mitigate somewhat relative to what we've seen over the last couple of months.
Tiffany, just to make this really simple then, what you point out, I do think is interesting. It's not that you think supply is going to meet demand anytime soon. You think demand comes off the boil a bit in the next couple of months.
Yeah. I mean, I think eventually these sort of supply bottlenecks will kind of work themselves out. They probably won't over the next couple of months, but I do think that, as you have these higher prices, you will see consumers, discretionary spending, as you mentioned, that probably cool off just a little bit. We've already seen that in April, for example, the retail sales report missed expectations. Economists love to look at the control group that actually fell. So I think you already started to see that a little bit in April, and high frequency data for May spending, also suggests a more, subdued pace. And again, I think that, that's completely normal. As prices rise, the demand for goods should fall somewhat. And I think that's what we're seeing. And that's what I expect to see as we move forward this year.
Tony, do you share these views?
Hey, good morning, St. Jonathan. Good to be with you. I think that's right. I think it's going to be a combination. We do think that some of the reopening demand will be difficult to continue to repeat. People aren't going to be taking a leisure travel vacation on a weekly basis, as an example, or attending sporting events on a daily basis.
This is a good point. This is something to pay attention to.
Moderate, we believe. Certainly some of the income support begins to go away when unemployment benefits are eliminated by September. And then from the supply bottleneck side of the equation, we do think that it's not going to be overnight by any means, and some of these supply bottleneck pressures will be with us through the balance of the year. But in a lot of cases, you will see supply begin to increase slowly through the year so that there will be more, for example, hotel availability. And we saw that was a big contributor. We think some of the, ability for car.
I'm going to pull off this talk for a moment. So, yeah, I mean, I have to say it's a very good point that, hey, we're going to get this explosion. And we've kind of already seen that in people like, yay, I can go out again. I can go to restaurants again. I can go travel again. But we've also just spent a year being pretty dang frugal. And part of me last year wondered if we were going to potentially head into a frugal decade where people spend less and invest more. And this discussion here about maybe having this temporary surge in spending, but we're already seeing mobility data go back down, is actually fascinating because it makes you wonder, okay, is that because maybe people have more money, but they spend their money going out once? It's like, cool, we went to Disney, we traveled, we did the thing, went back to restaurants. Now it's like, yeah, we're going to rubber band back to not spending as much because, those are some big prices. After you go to Disney, you're like, whoa, right? That's interesting. And those are certainly things that can pull back inflation over time. Let's listen in a little more.
Said, we don't think that happens. We actually think that consumers, demand for real demand for goods actually falls.
And this is true too. I mean, Baller here mentions that, looking back at the last 20s, the roaring 20s was a lot of spending and credit. I mean, that could happen. Part of me wonders, are we going to potentially have less credit drawdown? And one of the reasons I say that, I'm not pulling that out of my butt. One of the reasons I'm saying that is because when we look at refinance statistics, you actually have, back in 2008, a situation where somewhere around 70 to 90% of people who were doing refinances on their homes were taking money out so they could spend it on stuff like buy a new house, buy a new boat or buy a motorcycle or whatever. Now, when people are doing cash out refinances here in 2021, even though values are so high, when people are doing refinances, only 30% are actually doing cash out refinances. The other 70% are just doing rate reductions.
We brought up this concept of maybe a virtuous cycle here, that higher prices now could lay the foundation for future higher prices because of the expectations component of it. Tony, does any of that resonate with you? Is that something that you share, that risk around your base case?
Well, we do agree that that is the risk. If it really begins to, unanchor inflation expectations, that's when I think the Fed will become troubled. And they're very closely focused on that. We do think that the transitory element here, the details of the CPI report gave us greater confidence in that because the drivers were used cars, airlines, hotels, movie tickets, et cetera. And those we don't think will continue to rise at the pace that they have been. What's probably not transitory is that we are going to be at a higher level of inflation. That is the objective of the Fed, and we think they will meet that. The difficulty is going to be for the Fed to communicate that they can remain patient in the face of these very high headline numbers, where the market is, I think, concerned that they may get behind the curve. So it's going to become a communication issue for the Fed to be able to navigate this over the balance of the year.
Tony?
Yeah, and this is true regarding retail sales here in this comment that I just pulled up. Take a look at retail sales. We never have seen spending increase this much ever. Yeah, keep in mind, though, the last retail data was pretty heavily influenced by the stimulus. In fact, let's take a look. Let's look at, I'm pretty sure March retail data shot up. Let's see, retail. We'll go ahead and pull it up. I do want to mention as well that I just got another. Well, there's some comments about real estate here, which keep in mind, I am sponsored by Deal Machine. So if you're looking for deals off market, consider going to metkevin.com/deals. So that way you could find, or you could send postcards to folks who might consider selling before they consider selling. And that way you could get deals before they hit the market. So a couple things here on housing. Slowing housing starts reflects rising commodity prices. U.S. housing starts in April were weaker than expected. This just came in. Likely reflecting the high cost of lumber and other commodities. Yeah, so you're actually seeing a little bit of a slowdown in new construction being started. We do have paper-handed Weenie Baby here saying, I paid $8 for 2x4x8s. This is 4x the pre-pandemic pricing. Also very true. I am hearing builders here in Texas say they are about to raise prices 20%. This is insane. Will it come back? So it depends if you're talking to sales folks or who you're talking to. I suppose it depends. And the reason I say that is sales folks love to say that, like, hey, prices have gone up and there's no end in sight. You may as well buy now. Put that deposit in now because we're raising prices for the next phase. New construction generally always does. But yeah, I mean, look, in fairness, though, to their credit, there's little right now suggesting that this housing rally is slowing down. It's odd, but lumber prices will come back down. They've already started to moderate their prices, but the supply chain issues that they will moderate. But see, going back to that retail number, because somebody was saying that the retail numbers were, pretty incredible. Yesterday, I was reading a lot about China, because remember, China is ahead of us. China's recovery remains unbalanced as retail spending lags. And this is interesting because they had a big boost in retail spending, and then it fell. Remember, China is ahead of us. Look, industrial output, retail sales. See this right here? Look at their peak. February, March, and then this rotation back to the downside in terms of growth. I mean, they're still growing substantially, don't get me wrong. But I mean, look at this. Industrial output rose, and this is from yesterday. So, there it is, May 16th. Or is that 2 days ago? It's 2 days ago now. Fine. But whatever. Industrial output rose 9.8% in April from a year earlier versus the median estimate for a 10% increase. That's industrial output, so slight miss here. But retail sales expanded 17.7% in the period, far slower than the projected 25% rise. So yeah, of course, we're definitely expecting big growth. Don't get me wrong. I mean, 17.7% is still a rocket ship. But if it starts moderating, it does make you wonder, does that mean we're maybe different from the Roaring 20s? I don't know. But it's something I'm keeping an eye on, that maybe do we potentially go in the direction of the Roaring 20s? Or do we go in the direction of the Frugal Decade? Express momentum play moving 10.5%. NGA, which has really been operating somewhat like a momentum play here, up 6.6%. So is Nikola. Nikola's another one that's really been operating like a momentum play here. It's been doing very, very well. Up from I want to say 980 or something like that. Some kind of low. It was pretty bad. G-Tech Holdings. Oh, they're a good chunk lower than they used to be. What do we got here? SOS, Arcturus, PaySafe, Social Capital. These guys all around that 4% range here. Churchill Capital, despite the ticker symbol news and the merger news, only up about 3.2% here. Peloton back up 3%. Let's go pull the losers really quick. I worry I'm biasing a little bit too much here to just the extreme movers. We do have it looks like Bitcoin's trying to recover a little bit. Let me go to the 5-minute here. Yeah, a little bit of recovery being attempted here at Bitcoin. GameStop is rotating to the downside. So I mean, goes to show. I mean, you end up on Bloomberg as momentum stocks taking off. Maybe the opposite happens. It's nuts. It's nuts. When will Coinbase stop sucking? Jeez, it's that I'll tell you that was one heck of a situation where I think you had so many rich company insiders dumping everything that maybe not everything they had, but dumping so much. It's like, I want to be a billionaire. Sell. I think it's highly depressed because there's not enough too many sellers. It's simple. It's the way the market works. Too many sellers, price goes down. And they're all insiders, which isn't necessarily I mean, some folks will look at that and go, oh, wait a minute, isn't that really bad? Problem is when the valuation over the last few years has skyrocketed, there are a lot of people who are like, well, I kind of want to feel like a billionaire and have some cash around. So you do get that. But anyway, we'll back off coin for a moment. So Mind Medicine interview Friday will be super fun. Canoe, we're down 5.05%, which it wasn't this rallying yesterday. I don't know. I thought this was rallying yesterday in the aftermarket. Let's see what else we got here. Tesla, slight recovery here at Tesla. Yeah, look at that. Tesla started having some green candles, but it's now given up a little bit. Coinbase not as bad as it was. 243. It was like 240. Dogecoin sitting at that 48 figure. Nano Dimension 1. Okay. And the rest is kind of in the middle. I mean, it's not like that much fun movement today. Ooh, I'm going to be able to dump my TTCF option soon. That's good. 4% here on Tattooed. Good. Waiting for my opportunity to dump that. And Piton 3.6. OGI. Okay, good. So, it's a mixed day here. It's not that big of a mover. Quite frankly, I prefer we have more of these days. More of these days where we just go, give us a couple percent towards the upside. Tesla, go green, and then we'll be good. All right, what do we got over here? Kudlow? What's this talk about Kudlow?
Central planning and the taxing of inheritance and things like that. But mostly, Leon's coming on the show. He's a very dear friend to talk about.
Just talking about a show. This is nothing to do here. China are buying all your real estate in Australia. I'm wanting to take the real estate course to take them on, which is the best one you have. You have so many courses. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. The bundles, this is a problem. This is actually why I have a marketer now involved in helping me strategize on the courses. And that's why it's taken so long for us to end this coupon code, because we're still trying to figure that out. But the answer is simple. It's the 0 to Millionaire course on real estate investing is what you want to look at. There is one for real estate agents, which that would only be if you wanted to be in sales. A lot of salespeople who aren't even in real estate take that one, though. So, I mean, sales is sales, right? At the end of the day, you get different perspectives on sales. Different style of sales, though. So, all right, Coinbase. Kyle does not like the Coinbase platform here. All right. So, let's see what other news we can get here. Let's see here. Because right now, we have CNBC doing nothing. Fox doing nothing. And the market's kind of just teeter-tottering. So, all right, let's go here. What else we got here? So we looked at information here. Let's go back to Bloomberg. Let's start. Bloomberg.com is a good resource. Pretty fast over here. All right, so what do we got over here? EU eyes new tax framework. Okay, more than 50 months. Okay, well, border crisis. So, give us some top news here. You got any news here? The ugly truth about the property boom in London. Okay. Homeownership is the clearest way to prosperity in Britain. This, I have to say, is in my opinion, also the truth in America. Now, their new data show that for many, the path is far from clear. I think if they're talking about people not understanding how to do it, I agree with that. Well, I think that's one of the reasons I made a course on real estate investing, because it is so complicated. Chief among 30% of blacks are, okay, the racial wealth gap here. We're not going to make a video on gentrification and the racial wealth gap here. Done that before. I actually have done that before on the channel. But anyway, all right, let's see if we can get some more sticks here. And see if we can get some other news flowing here. It's a little quiet right now. Let's see. Janet Yellen's talking, but she hasn't really said much yet. What has Janet Yellen said so far? Not much. Oh, Janet. Treasury Secretary Yellen calls for reform of corporate tax system. Man, Yellen is just coming in and Bitcoin crime and tax this and tax that. I'm sorry, I don't know. It's different from when I remember you at the Fed, Yellen. You've changed. AT&T now selling off 7%. That's a good line right here. Look at this. Janet talks, the market walks. Oh, man. That's priceless. All right. So let's see here. What else we got? GameStop selling off a little bit. Canoe, Luminar. A little bit of momentum movers to the downside here. Coinbase, not as bad as it has been. Let's see. Where's Ethereum? Tesla's trying to recover a little bit. It's literally, I mean, I thought this used to bounce around 666. What happened to 666? I know it was a weird number, but 569 now? Oh, man. Tesla, what are you doing to us? Just tell you, you've had one heck of a news cycle for Tesla, though. You got to give them that. I mean, you look at the last 3 months of news for Tesla, it's been a daily battering ram. It's been pretty bad. Look at the middle, though. A lot of stocks sitting around this -1% to +1%. Pinterest, Target, Simon Property Group, Apple, Enphase, Disney, Redfin, Square. They're doing nothing. EXPI, Dave & Buster's, Roblox. They're all doing nothing today. They're all boring. It's boring. Where's the entertainment? Let's go back to crypto then. And you get some crypto entertainment because they're boring today. All right. Bloomberg, but also well, let's give this a shot for a second here, and we'll come back to this one second.
Oil, $66 a barrel this morning. The average price of gasoline as of right now, this is a national average, $3.04 a gallon, which is indeed a great deal higher than it was 1 year ago. And by the way, in terms of supply of gasoline, I have to tell you that in Washington, D.C., 73% of gas stations are still without fuel. An appropriate moment to bring in gas buddies, Patrick DeHaan, old friend of this program. All right, Patrick, are we going to see price increase or a spike in gas prices this summer?
Oh, I think that's certainly a possibility, Stuart. I think what lies ahead, though, in the next week or two as Americans get ready to hit the road for Memorial Day, expect a little bit of a price break. But as you say, I think it's going to be an unusual summer. We typically see the average peak sometime in late spring. This year, because of COVID and the overall recovery happening in the economy, we could actually see it in July or potentially August if there's any major hurricanes.
All right, let's go ahead and pull off this for a moment here. When can we get old school RuneScape streams? RuneScape. Oh, I miss RuneScape. Hey, I was thinking about streaming it in November, but they had the Iron Man competition. That was fun. Okay, let's go. Let's try to get Bloomberg Live TV up. Well, I should already have it up here somewhere. Oh, they're on commercial too. They're literally, see, this is what happens. There's no news, and then they all go on commercial at the same time. It's something else. I swear they coordinate it. That's all right. Let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. Q&A. Oh, it hasn't started yet. Darn. Okay, let's see what other top news there is. I got the terminal conveniently on my phone today. So we've got housing starts trail estimates. Bitcoin chartists see Bitcoin FUD. All right, let's see what we got here. A cohort of chart watchers. I think usually we call them technical analysts, chart watchers. Okay. On Wall Street, say Bitcoin's deepest sell-off in the crypto mania kicked off last year looks set to intensify. Evercore ISI's Rich Ross reckons prices are destined to fall back to the 200-day moving average, following a path of other speculative assets, which would put Bitcoin back under $40,000. Yes, it would. Others are watching for a pattern of lower highs and lower lows, and says Elon Musk's unpredictable tweets will keep traditional investors on the sidelines. Yeah, well, potentially also keeping other new institutions on the sidelines. That's a consideration as well. The counterpoint comes in from Fundstrat Global Advisors in a note released Monday. There are 9 reasons why he thinks the price is set to bounce, including high levels of short interest and the fact that corrections like this tend to be normal in the crypto cycle. Well, I mean, that's definitely true. That is very, very true. The odds are we're close to a bottom, he says. He actually did not list his other 9 reasons here. So, all right. Well, I might pull the guy up. There we go. It's interesting. What do you all think? Is Bitcoin set for a bounce, or is it heading back down? You know, let's do this. Let's do a tweet. Let's ask y'all, all right? So if you have not yet, follow me on Twitter. We did a poll like this yesterday. Yesterday's poll was... that's right. This was yesterday's poll. What phase of market are we going into? The roaring 20s, 45.8% here. Flat, 30.6%. And the end of gains going down. So we got the pessimists. I don't know. Are flats pessimists or flats neutral? I don't know. But the question we want to ask today is where does BTC go from here? All right. Moon, 60K plus from here in the next 3 months. We'll put some asterisks there since I feel like nobody's going to read that. And that's the downside, because you could literally say, where's it going to go in 10 years, right? So 3 months is important. In 3 months. There we go. We'll say that. Okay. Moon, flat, 40-ish. Crash, I don't know, 20-ish. Then rebound. Ugh. Okay, we'll do this. Crash. There we go. Then rebound. Okay, I think these are good questions, right? I think it should be obvious that this is K-ish, but I ran out of characters. I think people will get it though. So go vote at RealMeatKevin on Twitter. I just posted it, and then we'll see what y'all think. All right. With that said, AT&T down 7%. We've got desktop metals down 5.83%. GameStop 5%. We are doing the course member live stream, by the way, earlier today. It'll be at 7:15 a.m. So if you have used that coupon code and you want to join the private course member live stream, we're going to do Q&A back and forth to make sure you're available in about 15 minutes. So we've got Tesla. Look at this Tesla recovery, though, here. Let's go to the 5-minute here. Here we go. The 5-minute actually looks nice at Tesla. And I'm a little nervous about drawing W-shaped recoveries here, given that the W is starting to get pretty elongated. But when we first drew the W, we were right for like 4 days, and then Lauren was right, and then everything else fell apart. It's kind of classic. But anyway, okay, the 5-minute chart looks nice, especially with the average candlesticks. Vuzi is up 9.2% today. Wow, here's one that really came out of nowhere as a momentum play today. We've seen Vuzi as a momentum play in the past, but yeah, this has really moved here. SOS moving, Nikola moving, PaySafe, Express, Upstart. I mean, here are your trader stocks today. Wow, I'm getting close to having to dump this one. Look at that, up 6% today. That's very nice, 6% on. Oh, we had a push to the green side, folks. This is good. This is good. Things moving a little bit to the green side. We've got Tattooed Chef up 6.66%. DoorDash is up 5%. C3 AI 5.5%. Where is it? Trying to find out where my option is. Oh, it's in Robinhood. I have most of my options in Webull. Yeah, I'll find it. But anyway, yeah, wow, that's a good run here all of a sudden. Churchill Capital at 5.19%. Oh, there we go. Let's go. My $24,000 option on Tattooed Chef is right now up about 10 grand. Yes. Yeah, 20 is my target. Although if I wait a little longer, maybe it'll double. I don't know. You gotta be careful. But anyway, when I close that out, obviously I always send alerts when I buy and sell in the Stocks and Psychology Money group down below. Use that coupon code before we change the pricing. One of these days, the marketing team will figure out how we're gonna. So I get it. There are too many bubbles when you go to meetkevin.com/join. There are too many bubbles because of all the bundles. We got to give options, I don't know. I don't know. Marketing's hard. IPOE, this is another option I have. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one, but IPOE's got a little more work to do. Maybe I gotta talk to Chamath and we gotta have a conversation here. What's this? She usually brings news. Unlike Kramer. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Earnings and revenue. I spoke to Walmart's CFO, Brett Biggs, who said, quote, stimulus helped in the first quarter. And because of that, we increased our profit and revenue guidance. And he added that what we are seeing right now in Q2 was part of the reasoning as well. So the trends continue. Biggs also said, I think overall, the consumer is in good shape. There's a lot of money out in the system. We're seeing spending rates healthy, savings rates also near all-time highs. On the call, Walmart executives were asked about Walmart Plus. That's the new membership program. And they said, look, the number one driver of selling memberships is grocery and supercenter pickup and delivery. So the retailer has to increase capacity to get ahead of the demand for that program. It's a program that's long-term important, Walmart executives say, but it's not the primary focus when there are other opportunities here in the short term. Now, grocery share has increased for Walmart. General merchandise categories improved in the quarter too, including apparel, home, and lawn and garden. Those are higher margin as well. Now, Walmart's U.S. comparable sales were up 6%. That was 6 times as strong as analysts had forecast. And compared to the first quarter last year, that big pandemic stock-up quarter where Walmart's comp grew 10%, it's especially impressive. Store traffic turned positive for the first time since April of last year. Now, Walmart's net U.S. e-commerce, however, it did come back down to earth a little, growing at 37%. That's a growth rate last seen.
All right, Walmart and its e-commerce here. We'll circle back. We'll Jen Psaki circle backy here to Walmart. So what else do we have here? Let's see. We've got AT&T is still sitting down about 6.9 right here. Bitcoin. Ooh, what happened? Look at this. Best strategy. I never got margin called. There were some, and I thought it was really rude. I even left comments. There were a couple of YouTubers, smaller channels. I don't discriminate. There are a couple of people that are like, oh, Kevin got margin called. Never in my life have I been margin called. And I also don't understand how you can get margin called with 20% margin. Like you got to be like really, really high margin to get margin called. You have to be sitting at like 70, 80% and then have a big fluctuation in a day and then get margin called. Never close. But I did eradicate all of my margin with the exception of a little bit that I have at the moment, like 1 or 2%. By swapping on over to an option strategy, which I thought was phenomenal. And we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a few months, I think, for the strategy to play out. But I want to see what's happening to Bitcoin here because Bitcoin's all of a sudden showing a move to the downside. I sue for defamation. I mean, the problem is like, okay, did that damage me? Right? Like. Sure, it's defamatory to lie about somebody to make up bull crap. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sue someone. Okay, so what we're doing? I'm trying to look up Bitcoin news. I want to see what's happening. Why all of a sudden is Bitcoin crashing? All right, let's see if we can get Bitcoin news. BTC news. What's happening here? Bitcoin. Oh, it's a little hard to do on this. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe Weeble News can help us. What's going on here? Bobby Lee's Bitcoin awakening. Okay. The worst of the pullback may be over. Crypto CoinDesk is always very bullish, though. In fairness, CoinDesk generally runs pretty bullish articles. But yeah, Bitcoin all of a sudden selling off here. It also looks like it's taking Ethereum with it. Did Elon tweet? And how's our Twitter poll doing? Let's see here. That's cool. I didn't know you could buy 6 months of the YouTube chat membership up front. I think that's really cool. All right, let's go first start with our poll. Wow, pretty mixed, actually. Look at this. So within 3 months, 46% of you, we got a lot of bulls in here. 46% of you think Bitcoin will be over 60,000 in 3 months. 29% of you think it'll be flat. Only 25%, so a minority of you think it'll crash to 20-ish, then rebound. Let's go see if Elon retweeted. Elon. All right. Oh, one tweet in the last hour. Uh-oh. What do we got over here? Let's 23 minutes. Aiming for extreme precision with next gen Model Y. Microns, not millimeters. Well, that's cool. Giga Berlin suppliers, please accelerate. That reminds me, there is a another article here out from Elon Musk, or talk from Elon Musk at least. Can we get the Bluetooth to work, please? I need the article link. No, it's not going to work. Okay, fine. It's a Reuters article. Tesla Musk blames bureaucracy for German. Here we go. Take a quick peek at this. All right. So Reuters says that Elon Musk is calling for cuts to Germany's red tape on Monday. This is one of the things that does hold up construction and real estate in Germany as well. I mean, this is not uncommon. Germany sometimes has a reputation for this. Said it was unclear when exactly the first electric car would roll off the production line. Last month, delayed after plans of adding a battery cell plant on site as well, basically lengthened the approval process. It's hard to predict. Okay, so in fairness, Tesla is also adding things that they want to do. I think there could be less bureaucracy. That would be much better. Adding rules were immortal. Adding rules were immortal. Oh, that never die, right? He's made this argument many times. Active process for removing rules. Oh, okay. Old news. He said that many, many, many times before. Oh, talking about retail data. Let's go here. And then I do want to figure out why crypto is selling off. But let's listen to this for a moment.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
Okay, never mind. He's done with that. POW, $100 to say this. The proof of work versus proof of stake debate fails to discuss the Ouroboros algorithm. Even your ARC guest, Yassine, didn't. 3 proof of stake cryptos use it. Please get familiar with it before you meet Charles. Ouroboros. All right. I'll write it down. Thank you. All righty here. What else do we have? Is Palantir moving? Played the Buy the Tips song. Oh, gosh. Did Tesla go green? Shut up. No, it didn't. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I don't know if I buy it. Okay, Bitcoin rebounding a little bit. Now back in that 43 range here. Not exactly sure what caused that red candle, but that was something. Would Jivo went negative? What? Yeah, look at that. Jivo had a positive open and it's been straight down. Wow. Volatility. PaySafe is up 10% now. Oh my goodness. Well, then again, PaySafe used to bob around $15. And now it's at $12. Oh, Churchill Capital. Let's go. Churchill Capital at 7%. Let's go. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay, so Tattooed Chef sitting at 6.38. We've got Social Capital at 5.94%. Workhorse 5.8. Upstart moving again back into that 20s range, that 120s range. It's pretty good. That's this thing literally fell to like 90. And as long as that momentum bounce back and forth maintains, Upstart is one of those that I would write down for trading purposes, maybe even swing trading purposes, that when you see it go to like 90, buy it because you know it's going to swing back to 120. And no guarantees, right? But watch for those patterns because we've seen that pattern like 3 times now. And I pointed out because I do see it. Okay. What else do we have here? G-Tank on the marijuana play in Canada up a bit here. Great CEO. I really enjoyed the CEO interview. Keep in mind, make sure to subscribe for Friday, the interview with Mind Medicine and Kevin O'Leary. Really excited about that. Okay. Twitter's up 3.2%. Okay, sorry. I had to do something really quick. All right, CRISPR Therapeutics is what is it? CRISPR is actually moving to the upside here. CRISPR is another one that's just gotten beat up here. Let's zoom out for a moment. Yeah, somebody's talking about Moderna too. Yeah, CRISPR's really been at a low here. I did a little bit of CRISPR shopping on Friday. CRISPR and Invitae. EXPI. We actually bought that with all the course members. We were doing a sort of a live buy. EXPI is trying to recover. I mean, it hit some crazy lows here, but at least it's trying to recover. Somebody said Tesla was, Pinterest moving up 2.3% here. Okay, so that's a nice move. This is more green. We are greening up right now. The trend is greening here. Very, very nice. A good run here on TTCF as well. Very, very nice. The option I have is for July, which is very, very around the corner. I don't love the short term. You've got Tesla over here sitting at 578, positive by about 0.25% here. Let's listen to this Bitcoin talk here for a moment. What do we got?
You're setting me up here to name the one man that's been in the news more than anybody else around these price moves, Elon Musk, of course. And listen, just to address that from the outset, I think there's a very simple explanation for his about face, for Tesla's about face, which comes down to the fact that Tesla needs to maintain its status and perception as a clean energy play, as an ESG. That's important for its inclusion in certain funds and portfolios. That's a relationship with government. And I think that it's as simple as that. It's very fun to conjecture about the rantings and ravings of a potential madman, but I wouldn't overblow that element of it.
Yeah. Is it fun though, Melton? I mean, how fun is it when so much of the market cap can be moved by literally one-word tweets by one person?
Well, true.
But look, hold on. That's not what moved the market. At CoinShares, we look at data. We manage 5 billion assets. We're a listed company. I don't care what Elon Musk says. My job and my team's job is looking at the data. Here's what's happening. Macro markets on Friday, we saw skittishness in tech stocks. We saw brief equities sell-off that's contributed to the sea of red in crypto. Tax season means they're selling across markets. And look, let's be very realistic. Bitcoin up 300% since the start of the year. It's very normal to see 25 to 40% corrections and pullbacks. What we're seeing, the majority of selling activity we've seen over the last week has been from new holders. People are coming in, they're getting spooked. Weak hands are selling. We also see skittishness as we see a lot of uncertainty around stimulus in the macro climate contributing to selling, primarily retail driven. Also, if we look at the option side of the market, skew has been bearish for the last 2 weeks. So if we look at order books, right, traders have been primarily positioned on the short side, expecting a correction. I think right now, and if we look at the data right now, that sentiment is flipping. We're about as bearish as we can get. And again, this isn't about tweets. This is about using data to inform our perspective. Last week, for the first time, we saw over 50 million in outflows in crypto exchange traded products on the Bitcoin side, continuing to see inflows into Ethereum. And we see a lot of sector rotation as profits that have been realized.
Well, that's down too.
Are now going further out on the risk reward spectrum into other assets, including Ethereum, Solana. Crypto's not immune to it, but I wouldn't overstate the impact that any one person's tweets can have on this market.
I'm really impressed. You both just came armed for this conversation today.
That was good.
Just to dig into that a little bit more, Jill, I mean, there's Bitcoin, and then there's all of these other cryptocurrencies as well. And now there's more focus on stable coins. That's starting to grow given the news we saw around Diem last week too. As investors do think about and potentially do, I guess, shift out on the risk curve and rotate into some of these other crypto assets, what are you looking at? What seems most promising or most hopeful to you? What would you steer clear of?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think that it's one thing that's been missed in all of the fear and uncertainty that's been kicked up over the last couple of weeks around Bitcoin, even around Dogecoin, and specifically around the proof of work systems that they rely on.
Yeah.
The fact is, there are plenty of other coins out there that don't rely on proof of work. And so if that's your issue, Elon, or whoever out there is listening, then I would encourage you to do research into those. You know, you have the likes of
They're ripping on them,
which is testing all-time highs actually at the moment, despite the overall market weakness. That's a proof of stake system. You have Chia, which I know has been talked about. Kramer was talking about it earlier this morning, which is a proof of space and time system. You have all of these alternatives to proof of work. That's for a long time been a part of my thesis. Not that those are necessarily perfect replacements for Bitcoin, but there's certainly good alternatives if that's a concern that you have.
Yeah, Meltem, I mean, there's this growing landscape of coins and offerings right now. Coinbase last week said that they're working to list Doge on that exchange. How are you thinking about that specific cryptocurrency? How are you thinking about some of the other ones, including the ones that Jill just mentioned?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, at CoinShares, we offer the market what we think there's demand for. We primarily deal in crypto exchange traded products. We have $5 billion in AUM there, have been doing that since 2015.
Oh, they're a crypto broker. Now it makes sense why they're like going nuts on what's his name, Elon.
In our view, there isn't a lot of demand for Doge from anyone but retail buyers. Let's not forget an important structural shift in the market as well. In 2017, when we saw this last bull cycle, traders, retail traders in particular, were trading crypto on platforms where they could only move in and out in Bitcoin or Ether to some degree. Today, retail traders can access Dogecoin, Tesla, Nikola, you name your favorite penny stock or hype stock or meme coin here, all through one interface. So we see a lot more correlation between some of these meme-driven assets that are seeing a lot of inflows and outflows and a lot of volatility. So I think it's important to recognize we focus on the institutional demand. The institutional demand is still heavily focused on Bitcoin. We're now seeing more inflows, over $3 billion in AUM in Ethereum-focused ETPs accumulated just in this year alone. Totals 10 billion out of the 60 billion total in crypto asset ETPs. So we are seeing, as people get educated, more interest in assets outside of just Bitcoin. But again, in our view, Bitcoin will remain the dominant asset for some time to come. It is the most robust in terms of market structure. It really is.
Yeah, to that point, Jill, really quick, B of A today, their fund manager survey said long Bitcoin is their most crowded trade. I know some people are watching the 200-day at around 39.5. What needs to hold?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I saw that same headline.
This is a really good segment.
To me, I think that that's actually net a bullish signal for the market. If you look at how far we've come, the very fact that B of A is putting out that headline and saying that goes to show how much demand and how much real demand, institutional demand, has come into the market over the last 3 years. If you had told me that that headline was coming out 3 years ago, I would have laughed. Even I wasn't that optimistic then. And so, look, I think it comes back to what Meltem says. You know, the institutional demand needs to hold. And if this little bit of weakness, and it is only a little bit of weakness in the grand scheme of the volatility that crypto has seen over the last 10 years. If that has changed any of these institutions' buy theses around Bitcoin, then they didn't do very much research to begin with. They need to go back and revisit their diligence.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the institutional backdrop makes this correction different than the ones we've seen in the past. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, thanks so much. That was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
These ladies crushed it. That was so good. They're so good. Oh my gosh, that was real. That was a really good. Oh my gosh, they just destroyed. That was really, really good. Wow. I mean, one of the favorite things here is if institutions change their minds about buying Bitcoin because of basically Elon Musk's tweet, then they must not have done a lot of research about Bitcoin. In addition to the talk about mostly newer retail traders being the ones flowing out of Bitcoin right now because maybe they've gotten spooked because they bought, right during the Coinbase hype or whatever. And Jill talking about this real potential diversification maybe into other coins, but for institutions, Bitcoin still being the favorite, and that, hey, this is just part of the normal 20-40% correction that you get in cryptos, and this is what you sign up for. I have to say, there are definitely some mic drop moments there. That was good. I enjoyed that, I wish they addressed the fact that Ethereum is going down with Bitcoin. They did not address that, despite this talk about people moving from Bitcoin to Ethereum. But if they are a coin broker and that's what they're seeing, it does not surprise me. In fact, yesterday I was talking about how I think it would be not a surprise for institutions to diversify their holdings into BTC and Ether. And it is also crystal clear. We talked about this yesterday. We pulled up the S1 for Coinbase, and we clearly saw their charts on institutional activity for trading substantially taking over the crypto landscape. But also, another interesting fact from Jill here was that there's just a lot of bearish options activity right now, which is institutional trading, basically puts or shorts on Bitcoin. And this makes sense because it's actually also something that I talked about a few days ago when I said, hey, folks, I think one of the reasons we're seeing this crypto sell-off is because there's more shorting happening on the institutional side. I kid you not. I said that a few days ago. You can watch my crypto videos. They're all labeled. And we talked about that. Why? Because what got beat up earlier? Tech, consumer discretionaries. People shorted the junk out of them, and they made lots of money shorting. Bitcoin and the cryptos have been at all-time highs. Short them so you can make money when the punch and bag rotation comes over there too. Really, really, really good, impressive segment. Loved it. What an amazing way to end this live stream. But folks, I'm late for the course member live stream. This segment was very good, but I got to take care of my course members, folks. I got to go. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next